Have our next speaker, Mr. Shankar Prasad. Mr. Shankar Prasad is founder and director, Pureplay Skin Sciences Private Limited. He is a chemical engineer from IIT Mumbai and is a gold medalist in MBA from ISB Hyderabad. He has nearly 20 years of working experience across consumer goods, consulting, and financial services. He has worked for 8 years at Hindustan Unilever Limited, working in manufacturing and product development. He has also worked as a management consultant at McKinsey for 2 years and subsequently as executive director operations at Everstone Capital, where he worked closely with several of Everstone's consumers sector investments as part of the operation team. He was also part of the founding team for Faces Cosmetics in India. Shankar launched Plum in India in 2014. Besides work, he loves music. He is a trained classical musician, catching up on science television and spending time with family. I welcome you, sir, for the talk.
Thank you for the introductions. Really raised expectations, I guess, for that. I don't have a presentation because this is about sharing my experience as an entrepreneur, and I just thought it's more natural and appropriate for me to talk rather than to present. Number one. Number two, I have about half an hour, which is about until 3:10, 3:15. So what I plan to do is to spend just 10-15 minutes talking and open up 10-15 minutes for you guys to ask me anything, so that make the most out of me being here. I'll have two caveats as I start. Number one is Plum is still very, very small. It's a baby. It's not even walking. It's still a baby in the world of consumer goods. Number two, what I'm about to say is my perspective, my experience. What works for one person doesn't work for another. What works for one brand doesn't work for another. What works for one product of ours doesn't work for another. So it is tough to extrapolate. So I've tried to keep my gyan slightly general. But as we get into questions, I shall be able to throw more light and more specific granular detail on stuff. So I just have I just structure my next 10 minutes in just 4 broad areas. So what does it take so if I have to sort of rephrase the question, what does it take to launch a brand in anything, why cosmetics, could be in food, beverages, wherever, to launch a product in the consumer goods space? To me, there are 4 C's, which I just wrote down as I was sitting here. This is not some framework that I read in school. I just thought if I were to summarize my last 4.5 years journey as an entrepreneur, what are the 4 things that I would tell anybody in 10 minutes? So those 4 things are what I will speak about. And coincidentally, and so partly by design, they fall into 4 C's, which is easier to remember, right? The 4 C's, according to me, of being a successful consumer goods entrepreneur is number 1, customer centricity. Customer comes first. Customer is God, right? When I founded Plum, I founded with 4 values, which we still have it on the wall of our office. Customer delight is the first value. Second is respect. Third is sustainability. Fourth is transparency. So customer delight, always, when anyone joins the team, that's the first thing I say. Customer is happy, we are happy. Customer is not happy, we are gone, right? So customer centricity is the first point. Second point is communication. You may have the greatest products, but if you're not able to communicate, then people are not getting the idea of what you're saying, right, what you're trying to do. The third is connections. And in this very room, I'm fortunate to have people who have helped me along my journey. When I started, just had an idea in my head, just the name in my head. To make it a reality, I can't do it myself. I need people around me to do it, right? So I'm thankful to those who are in the room and those who are not in the room who have made it happen, who are making it happen. So the third is connection. The fourth is cash. All ideas, all plans, all communication, brand, product, great product, ultimately, if you're not able to watch cash, because cash is the fuel that makes this machine run, and if you're not careful about cash, then you probably are not going to last the journey. To summarize, and I'll go into detail of each of these and give examples of what it means to be working along these 4 dimensions. First is customer centricity, the second is communication, the third is connections, and the fourth is cash. Right? I will just dwell a little bit on the first one, most importantly, which is customer centricity. To me, when I started, customer satisfaction was not enough. Right? Customers are satisfied. No one's going around unhappy saying like, I just hate my skin cream, I hate my face wash. They're all happy, they're satisfied. What will make us stand out in the market? What will make us stand out in the market is if we're able to delight the customer. She should, and our customer is primarily a she today, so she should be saying, wow, I have not seen anything like this. Right? Wow, these guys mean what they say. Wow, this is the product that delivered what it said on the pack. That is delight. That, and she's unhappy, she calls us back, we send her the replacement product. So like, again, wow, you could actually replace products. I had to convince a customer once over phone that we are actually sending you a free replacement. She said, it's not possible. Who does this these days? I said, I'm sending you. You have to believe me. She said, no, what if you don't send? I said, I'll send you the tracking number. You won't track it, it's on the way. People don't believe that we can be genuine and nice to them. And from the day we started our business, we have had a 7 days, no questions asked replacement policy. You order something from our website, plumgoodness.com. You're not happy. Whatever, it didn't suit you, I don't like the fragrance, whatever. You just call us up, send us an email, send us a WhatsApp, whatever. I'm not happy, please take my product, replace it. Same value, we'll send you another product, free of cost, replacement, shipping is on us. No charges, absolutely no charges. You bought for even 2,000 bucks, you want a 2,000 bucks replacement, we'll send it to you. So when I first started with this idea, even I was a little worried. How many people are going to come back and keep exchanging products? You'll be surprised at how few people actually ask for a replacement, and that is because our products, we don't oversell our products. We make sure that we give them only what they want. There are several times when we say no to a customer. If she says I have oily skin and she says I want a sunscreen for oily skin, which we don't have today in our portfolio, we tell them I don't have a sunscreen for oily skin. Don't take it from me. Don't buy any of my 4 sunscreens which are there. They're not for you. Don't take. So we don't oversell. We give them what they want. So when she orders, at that time itself, she's pretty comfortable that these people are not out to fool me or promise, right? So given that and the fact that the product goes with the promise of whatever you've purchased, 1% of that sale goes towards environmental causes, and we are members of 1% for the Planet, where we donate 1% of our sales to environmental causes. We've chosen WWF as our partner for the last 2 years. So we are one of the largest, by the way, largest small donors to WWF, World Wildlife Fund, right? So when people see all of that, they know we are not here to just make money. We are here to actually create something special, create something valuable. So that's the first part. You have to give customers what they want. You have to tell customers in a language that they understand, which is number 2, which is communication, right? If the customer does not like what we say or what we are giving, it becomes very apparent. And we are an online only. We were an online only brand. We are an online first brand even today. We think online. Retail has just started 6 months ago. So in the world of online, feedback is instant. Feedback is direct. Feedback is brutal. Feedback is like public. You can't hide. You can go and hide 2 reviews. You can go and hide 20 reviews. You can't hide 200 reviews, right? You have to be good. So, and if you made a mistake, own up, I made a mistake, right? So there are times when we have pulled the product from the market saying, no, this is not a product, this didn't turn out the way we liked, so sorry. Right? At least 3 products I have personally overseen, khatam, finished. Money lost, inventory sitting in the warehouse, can't help it, right? But I don't want an angry customer out there, absolutely not. Right? What I want is people saying, hey, have you tried Plum? This is really good. Have you tried their kajal? It's awesome. Have you tried their face mask? It's great. So I want that word of mouth to spread. Second is communication. India, the way we are not taught design properly, I feel. My humble submission, even though I am an engineer myself, the way we are taught design in this country, there's something wrong, something missing. And fortunately or unfortunately, I have to depend a lot on people abroad to give us the kind of designs that we want. Right? This is the gap in this country. The logo of our brand was designed abroad. Most of the packaging was designed abroad. Even today, we depend a lot on people abroad to get our designs done. Because that communication, what the customer sees first is the logo and the pack. If that communication is not intuitive, goes directly into the mind, no one's going to read the copy on the back of pack. There are some people who do, but most people take a decision basis what they see, just see from a distance. So if that design is not catchy, that design is not telling you a story, then we have a problem. Talking of stories, I think people at the end of the day, a consumer is a human being. A human being relates to a story more than to a concept or to a fact. If you say a story, if the whole thing hangs together, you can see that light bulb in their head going, okay, makes sense, it's all consistent. People are very, very smart when it comes to finding out inconsistencies in stories. Like by the time I'm into the third sentence, they'll say, but hang on, you said something else in your first sentence. Right? So you have to be very consistent in your communication. Every comma, every full stop, where the logo is placed, where the colors are put, what colors we use, what language we use. To this day, I have to be very deeply involved in that communication because it is paramount. Ultimately, it's, yeah, sure, the product is in our hands, but she's making the decision to purchase or to repurchase or not to repurchase, to recommend or not to recommend, basis that communication. And in social media, again, in the world of online, communication is everything. And we have to constantly keep running, keep innovating the way we communicate. Initially, we used to communicate with words. Then we started communicating through images. Then we started communicating through photos. Then we started communicating through slideshows. Today it is about videos. Tomorrow I don't know what it is. Right? Today we are unable to keep pace with the rate at which social media is changing. It's a constant challenge to communicate because there's so much noise that it's very, very difficult to stand out and say. So which is where consistency in communication is very important. This brand talks this language only. This brand uses these colors only. The moment you see red, you think Coca-Cola, right? That is communication. You can't think Coca-Cola in green or blue or purple or whatever. Right? That level to which they've sort of mapped your mind saying red is Coca-Cola, blue is Pepsi. Wake up a child in his sleep, he'll tell you red is Coca-Cola, blue is Pepsi. That's how consistent you have to be in communication. We are nowhere there as a brand in terms of going to that gold standard. Right? But it's a journey. Third is connections. To me, connection sounds like very connection type, but it's actually about people. I just put connection because I had to get a C there. But it's about people. And people, to me, the underlying thing to having relationships with people is trust and being good to others. Right? If you're good to others, people see that you're being good to others, they'll respond with that goodness. 99.99% will respond to that goodness. The 0.01% who don't respond don't deserve to be with you. That's fine. But the 99.99% who are responding to your being good, honest, straightforward, trustworthy, that synergy of that relationship, where 1 + 1 becomes greater than 2, that is where magic begins to happen. Whether it is trade partners, whether it is customers, whether it is employees, whoever it is, right? At the end of the day, it's about building those true human relationships. Well, I really enjoy doing it. I'm actually an introvert by nature. I don't like to sort of talk and mingle and whatever. But the few relationships that I have, those are very special to me, right? And I don't have to call them like every day and say good morning or call them every week and say how are you doing. They just know I am there. I know they are there, right? And that is driven by values and that is driven by a trust, a mutual appreciation for what you do, mutual respect, which is where respect for me is a very important part of where we started as a brand. So, I'm reaching my self-imposed 15-minute deadline. I'll very quickly open up. So, it's about being genuine to people around you, taking the effort to spend time with them, understand who they are. Very often, and I learned this when I was a management consultant, and there you learn it really well, because it is never about you as a management consultant. It is always about the client. You are there because the client wants you to do something, right? My agenda, my education, my likes, dislikes, whatever, doesn't matter at all. It's only about what the client wants. And the client is a human being, whether he's a CEO of a Fortune 500 company or is somebody way down the line. The human being in that, you have to understand why he's saying what he's saying and what is important to him or her at that point in time. And building those human relationships genuinely, not trying to game the whole thing, but being genuine in your approach, it shows when people interact with you, right? So that takes time, investment, sincerity, effort, but it's well worth it, not just in terms of building a business or doing a job, but I think it's good to have that in your life overall, right? Whether you run a business or do a job or whatever. Fourth and most important part is money, cash. Several of us who come from a technical background, I am myself from a technical background for 8 years, I was in manufacturing and R&D. We don't understand balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flows. The moment you say balance sheet, I can see people's eyes like glazing over. Yeah, that's something for the accountant to handle, whatever. But I was fortunate that in my B school, I had a professor, I'll never forget him for life, who taught us the basics of accounting in like very simple, easy to understand ways. You can get into details, but if you get the concept right of what is inventory, what is working capital, what is loss, what is earnings before interest and tax, what is interest cost. So just understand the very, very basic, it's just common sense, right? But get that common sense in your mind, and as you start running, you will understand what it is to sort of have working capital or not have working capital, or make a loss or not make a loss. And it will help you, I mean, you need that fuel. The world of business runs on money. If your business does not have money, and I've seen businesses, because I was in the investing role before this, I've seen businesses run out of cash. And to me, that is a very, very scary place to be. You've spent years building something. You have people who are looking up to you and saying, like, now what? And my biggest nightmares are about our business not having cash, right? So that should never be in your mind. You should always, my philosophy, this is where I caveated in the beginning, my philosophy is to play safe. You have to take risk. At the end of the day, you have to take risk in life, doing whatever you do, whether you run a business or do a job. But take the risk that you can manage. So always do a what if. What if this goes wrong? What if this product doesn't succeed? How much money do I lose? What if this hire that I'm going to do doesn't work out? The person that I'm going to get on board doesn't work out. How much salary am I going to lose over 6 months, 8 months that I'm going to give him or her the time to perform, right? If I'm sort of investing in new packaging, what is the total working capital investment and what is the total running cost of buying that packaging? What is the variable cost of buying that packaging? So at every point, I can't stress this enough, but at every point, making sure that there's fuel in the tank and you have source of fuel, even if you don't have fuel in the tank, gives the sense of, I think, mental peace more than anything else, that I do what I like doing. Because in a business like cosmetics, unless you are passionate about doing it day in, day out, night and day you are working on something, it's not likely to go click in people's minds. Yeah, you can be lucky and something just takes off, but that is just luck. Succeeding, or even, I'm not saying we have succeeded, we are still on our way, but even staying in this market for 4 years takes a lot of hard work and passion and dedication and commitment and long hours and whatever. But doing that without cash in the tank, without fuel in the tank, is very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. So always have your worst case scenario mapped out, saying, if this whole thing bombs, then what happens at the highest level? Secondly, if this product bombs, then what happens? If this product takes 3 months to establish instead of 3 weeks, what happens? If you think 3 months and it takes 3 weeks to establish, great, then you have a lot of good things going for you. But in reality, somebody once said, assume that it will take three times as long as you think it will, taking 3 times as much money as you think it will, right? So always have that safety thing. Nothing will work out in the time that you have in mind. If you think it's going to take 3 months, I can tell you it's going to take 6 months or 9 months. If you think it's going to give you whatever 3 lakhs of revenue, I'll tell you that it is going to give you 1 lakh of revenue. If you think it's going to be 30% profitability, I can tell you it's going to be 10% profitability. Work with those assumptions in mind, see where you stand. If you're still okay, then great. then the best case is going to be better than this. So don't sort of play on the edge is what I'll say. It's fashionable these days, I know, and I've been in investing myself, for companies to be in the news for raising money more than anything else. Right? I raised $1 billion, I raised $500 million, I raised $60 million. I have personally stayed away from raising big money. We are in the process of raising some small money, but big money means they want you to build a rocket, right? And maybe I'm not building a rocket, I'm building a car. It's not going to fly, it's going to run well, right? So the person who's giving you rocket fuel expects you to build a rocket. So I know very sure cosmetics is not a rocket industry, it is a car industry. So it moves at its pace. I can't hasten that pace. If it all takes off and the car suddenly takes off, sure, why not? But I know I'm not designing a rocket. So you have to be very careful what you do with money, where you get it from, how much money you take. So I'll stop right here and feel free to ask me anything. Happy to answer the best way I can. Please. Right. Actually, I have always been into consumer goods. So when I was out of IIT, I had choice to get into hardcore engineering or join HUL. Right. For some reason, I always liked HUL, and it was my dream job on campus, and I got it. Somehow, I like what I like about consumer goods is it's just there's no end to innovation. Right. You step outside and there are like 40 suppliers I have not met who have molecules that I probably need to be speaking to, and it's burning me from within that I need to get there and speak to them. And when will I get it into all my products? Right? It's maybe my lifetime is not enough. So very few industries you can actually say that about, at least that I know of, where take for example petrochemicals, right? I used to be in petrochemicals when I was in chemical engineer. I did all my internships with Reliance Industries. You've built a paraxylene plant, you've built a PTA plant, you've built a benzene plant, whatever. Yeah, you'll go from 100 tons to 400 tons per day to 1000 tons per day. But beyond paraxylene, what? Beyond PTA, what? In industrial engineering. In consumer goods, I was actually enthralled by the stem cells presentation. There's so much which we don't know yet, which people have not experienced yet. So there's always things to do. And to me, having an infinite space to innovate always encourages me rather than being in a box sort of thing. So, which is where I never left consumer goods. In consulting, I was consulting to consumer goods companies. At Everstone, which was private equity, I chose Everstone because it was all about consumer goods. So, Faces Cosmetics, I sort of got to work on literally brick by brick, laying it up. So, it was always with me, and frankly speaking, after 4 or 5 years in private equity, I was getting a little bored. So, I thought I need some challenge, some energy, some enthusiasm to do in life. So, which is where I just one day just decided to bootstrap and start. So God has been kind so far. Yes, sir.
Very interesting, and the most interesting part I thought myself was you spoke about values, trust, and all those which is now been forgotten in business. Today, I mean, people don't climb the ladder to success. Everybody wants a lift, you know. And cash, as you said, is very important to generate. But what I really look forward to hearing from you is that, you know, you said you're developing in a brand which is direct, and consumer communication which is direct can be very, very dangerous. We know, I think all of us know an experience of a multinational company on a big brand, what happened and how it ruined.
Yeah.
And it's not because I want to cite that example, but I want to know from you, how are you dealing with these kind of situations, number one.
Yeah.
And number two is that, of course, I'm sure you must be practicing all those what you spoke just now.
Right.
But do you feel that that is still a good thing to do, or in this current business practices, this is hindering you somewhere?
You mean the direct consumer connect?
Yeah, one, that part, and then the values you...
Values. Okay.
Yeah,
So, thank you. Values part, I'll be... I think I've learned... So, the same doubt I had in my mind. So how is it all going to work out? And are people going to respond the same way? And will you get that? But I think Anish is here at the back, and one of the first suppliers, manufacturers that we began working with, still our biggest working with. It developed that relationship today we cherish in our company, and it has developed only basis trust. I met his dad, just face-to-face meeting. I don't know what, he liked my face, I don't know what, just the way I spoke. He just said, yeah, sure, let's work. I had nothing at that time. I just went with an idea. Of course, we had some common connections and all of that. But he just said, sure, let's start. And he gave me a 30-day credit period without me asking for it. Today, when he sends me invoices, or I send him invoices, we don't even check those invoices. Genuinely. Right? They never have to remind us for payments. I never have to remind them for their commitment. So, this is just an example. And I can tell you, and Monisha is here, so again, Goldfield, similar examples where we have had people who I feel genuinely special about it, that when you do things the right way, there are people who respond. There are enough people who respond in the same way. And I think you just have to invest time and energy finding them. It's not as if everybody responds. As I said, there is a 0.01% who doesn't. But then those 0.01% do not, probably won't stay with you anyway. Right? No point. Right? But focus on the 99.99. So far my experience has been positive, and I'm very happy to share. So I almost like a Swamiji, I can tell you, go practice it. Right? And it is fun to be had. Just being genuine and getting that genuineness reciprocated. That's point number one. Point number two, I think in today's world, whether I choose to be direct or don't choose to be direct with customers, customers will choose to be direct with me. In the world of social media, it is one post away. It is one WhatsApp video share away. It is one Facebook post away. It is one Instagram image away. Any big brand today has to be watching what's going on about their brand in social talk. I would actually turn around and say people like us are at an advantage because we have grown up, or we are growing up rather, in that environment of openness. Any customer can reach us direct on WhatsApp. If you call our customer care helpline 730-331-6677, the moment you put your phone down, you'll get an SMS saying, we hope you found what you're looking for. If you didn't find it, it'll have my email ID on it. It says dir@plumgoodness.com. Right? Email comes to me directly. If somebody called us, I won't even know that she called us or not. If somebody called us and did not find the response satisfactory, she can write me an email directly and I respond. Right? So, people today, when they are putting money down, there was a time when it was impossible to reach companies. You have to go through the retailer will tell the distributor will go and tell the area sales manager. By the time it reaches, I was in technical function in large companies, so I know what it is. So by the time it reaches QC and technical, the whole thing is watered down so much that you don't even know what the issue is. Right? But today, brands like us, and there are several brands like us, which, and in many fields actually, which just there's no other option. Right? Even if I choose to not respond or choose to remain quiet on social media, I'm only fueling that fire. 10% people, 5% people will always be unhappy with something or the other about the product. They didn't like it, they didn't like the brand, they didn't like the fragrance, so many things. I can't please everybody. Right? I had a target consumer in mind. That was not for you, you bought it, I'm so sorry. You bought it on our website, I replaced it. Beyond that, I can't do it. I'm trying my best. Right? I think at some level, consumers also, if they realize that you're trying your best and you're being genuine about it and not trying to hoodwink, there again that 99.99% will say, sure, yeah, galti ho gaya, maaf, jao. Right? Beyond that, can't do much. Right? Sorry, it didn't work out. Right? It works out for 99 others, it didn't work out for you. Tough luck. Tough for me, tough for you. What can I do? Yes, sir.
So in today's world, where the cosmetics industry is full of not only big FMCG but even several of small and medium FMCGs, it will take a lot of kind of courage and conviction to do something what you're doing.
Right.
So what's the unique thing that is giving you that courage and conviction to go forward? with your idea?
So initially it was hope that made me go, but as we go along, I think the single thing, if you ask me what is the single thing that keeps me running and motivated, that is the feedback from our customers. We have a system where people leave reviews on our website, right? On a website, sorry. So if you buy something from our website, you can always, like how you rate on Amazon, you can rate on our website. So people respond, and that comes as an email to all of us in our team. And I go through each one of them, that is for sure, and I regularly share it with our team also. To me, what keeps me going today, and that courage and that conviction, comes from people using the word love in their feedback. Simple. I love Plum. I love this product. Right? When you say love, no, it is more than like. They actually genuinely are in love with your brand and with your product. If that is the case, then a large part of the issue is sorted. Then I have to worry about the other 3 C's. Right? So, if that is not there, then I have to work harder on building that love and building that appreciation for the brand. And that is the single thing that keeps me going. Is to just hear people say good things about the products they've purchased, and about the brand, or about the customer service, or about the packaging, whatever it is they say. Right? So it's about customer delight. Really, it comes to that. If my customers are happy, that's what keeps me going. If I don't hear a review for a long while, or I'm getting all 1 stars and 3 stars, it really depresses us. Even one 1-star review depresses me. Even one 1-star review, it will hurt me for a half a minute before it goes away. Initially it used to hurt me for longer. Now it hurts me for half a minute at least. Why didn't it work for half? Right. So it works both ways. To get good feedback, it's amazing. It puts that pep in your step. Any other questions? Sorry, brand? Negative feedback, you just have to be honest and say I made a mistake or it didn't work for you. Right? The good part is today our negative to positive feedback ratio is like very healthy on most products. And if it's not healthy, we pull that product quite simply. Right? So only what is left is stuff that people like. Of course, there will be a 5% who don't like it, or a 20% who's neutral about it, 75% who are loving it. 75% is not a bad ratio. If somebody gets abusive, then we block that person. I don't like people using abusive language or generally putting competitors' names in this thing. I'm spending money doing that advertising. You have no right to come and plaster my competitors' names on this thing. Those I block and I hide. People are generally saying, I didn't like it. We say, sorry, you didn't like it. Tough. We don't hide any reviews on our website. Never. Jo hai, wo hai. If it is a 2-star, 2-star, 1-star, 1-star. And people, when they see all 5-star reviews also now, they get doubtful. People are very smart. Right? So, there's no point in you trying to be smart and hiding reviews or whatever. You'll figure out. All 5-star, no, something is wrong. My daughter asked me, when I showed a review, she said, no, have you put all of these yourself, all like 5 stars? Like, no, I haven't. This is genuine. Sorry.
Hi. I just heard that your company is only 4 years old. So, what was the success factor that you had that made your company at what you are right now?
Okay. I think it's all 4 of the above. But really, it's about product. It comes down to that. So, what I like to say is marketing can make people buy your product. Your product makes them stick with it or buy it again or recommend it. So, what we call a net promoter score. How many would you recommend this to a friend? That is the ultimate question you can ask to a customer. If you've shopped on Flipkart or Amazon, you'll probably get that feedback. Will you recommend this to a friend? Being satisfied is one part, liking is one part, loving is another part, going and actively advocating, saying, recommending, ye kharido to your friend, that takes a lot of this thing, right? So that is from a product perspective. If a product is not living up to will you recommend this to a friend measure, then we are not doing a good job. Right? I take it very, very personally if something goes wrong, right? So that is the one thing. We are absolutely passionate about our product.
All right, thank you.
Welcome. But long way to go. So as you said, it's only 4 years. So for me to stand here and talk as if I've arrived is the last thing I want to do. And there's way too much ground to cover, and we're very, very, very small in the scheme of things. So I just, for me, it's a way to just share my experience more than anything else. Well, thank you so much for being patient listeners. I hope it was useful.